Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh Shemal, Shabbat Shem Rakakwadash. Shalom to the hopefully elect out there. I'm going to entitle this video, "And They Shall Take Them Captives, Whose Captives They Were." And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. And we're going to the commentary. So we should all be familiar with this precept, Isaiah 14:2. Started Isaiah 14:1. And if the Spirit allows, I may just go through the whole chapter, which is 32 verses long, or jump around. Let's see where the Spirit takes me. And we may even go into some other translations. And this is a prophecy. The majority of this, well, this is the whole chapter is a prophetic chapter dealing with the last days. If you don't know that we're living in the last days, I'm here to tell you we're living in the last days. So anyway, so let's just read it. I'm gonna read the first two verses, and I want to go back to it, and I want to go to the commentary. And I was surprised at what the commentary said. They pretty much said, or they said, they actually came out and said it, that the Israelites that went into captivity under these various nations will in fact be slaves or captives under them. And like I said, Isaiah is a book of prophecy. Isaiah 14:1-2 is yet to take place. So, Vocab Malone, if you're listening, I know you trying to mend your wound from that video, that last video that you did that I kind of did a response to. Yeah, you hate us, man. You wish we would disappear. You made a lot of demonic statements, a lot of hateful statements, demonic, hateful statements. Oh, they're just temporary. They're just here. You had other religions that come up and then they go. This is just another group of people that's going to come and go. And you can see the despair and the hate in your face. And you really got pissed off at that pastor that no longer wants to be a Christian. Now he identifies with the Israelites. And you even mentioned this was a pastor, I believe, out of Texas that had a church and gave over the keys to the leadership of the ISUPK. So you have pastors that are waking up to the fact that they're Israelites. Louis Farrakhan knows that he's an Israelite and knows that we are the Israelites. He said that many years ago. Back, what was the year? It had to be 86, 87 maybe. There was a speech in Chicago. He got mad at the small hats and he said, first of all, you're not even the people. And then I think it was the following week or the following 2 weeks, he went to the Madison Square Garden. We were down there. We actually even went in there while he was speaking. We stayed in there for about a couple of seconds. He didn't charge nobody. And he really didn't hit on it on the small hats as hard as he did in Chicago, I'll say a week or two after. If anybody knows the exact dates or the video, I'll try to find it. Because something that the small hats did to him, and he just let it out. He said, first of all, you're not even the people. But then I guess they kind of made amends, and, you figured he was going to even say it. And it was all on the news. And the reason why they had so much interest in him coming to New York, because they knew what he said in Chicago, that they're not the people, that we are the people of the Lord. But he really didn't go in like he did in Chicago. So they got shook up. They said, oh no, he's gonna bring out the truth. He's gonna wake up Jake's. Farrakhan's not set up to wake up Jake. Farrakhan, if anything, he would be part and parcel to what is that? Ezekiel chapter 37, but there was no breath in him. In other words, you had Jakes that set up groups that gathered the people, but there was no breath in them. Meaning they don't know who they have no clue that they're the Israelites unless the leader says that. Even Malcolm X said that he made a speech, and if you can find it, that's good, where he says, how did he say it? He said that there's going to be men on the streets that's going to blow the trumpet of truth in your ear. Listen to these men. Got to be talking about us. Whether he knew what he was talking about or the Spirit made him say that. Even Marcus Garvey, the Messiah Marcus Garvey, he made a statement, and I heard this. It was on, was it PBS? What is that? A PBS in New York area's Channel 13, and they were interviewing, I believe, his grandson, and they had like a documentary on Marcus Garvey, and he had made a statement. He said something to the effect of the true leaders of this people will be on the street corners, or something to that effect. And that's the only time I heard that. That was that had to be in the 80s. So, here we are now at the end of this thing. Vocab, I know you're mad because you're getting ready to go into captivity, but you're not going to be alone. Not going to be alone. So anyway, let's go into this. This shouldn't be long, but let's see where the Spirit takes me. And basically, this is a back to the basics. It says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, meaning the Most High will ultimately have mercy on the sons of Jacob, future prophecy, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers, and we're going to find out, see, High Priest Ariel, when he would read this, he would go into this a lot, Isaiah 14, because it's a major prophecy. And he would say that the strangers are the people of the other nations, like the small hats and other people that want to, or Christianity, that want to cling on to what we have, which is the truth. So they're clinging on to it. It's not talking about that. If you do a word search on the word strangers or stranger, sometimes it means the actual Gentiles, the other nations. Sometimes it means Israelites. And it's going to tell you, when we go into the commentary, you're going to see it. So this right here, strangers are referring to other Israelites. Like before I came into this, I would be considered a stranger. All of us that came into this, the majority of us, 99% of us that came into this, came out of Christianity, whether it be Roman Catholicism or Baptist, Methodist, Protestant. Believe it or not, I was raised up a Protestant. So that goes back to, one of the Protestant, so-called great Protestants was, John Calvin and Martin Luther. And the Protestant mean protest. They were protesting the Roman Catholic institution. And you had the Anglican Church, which can stem out of the Roman Catholic Church. That's the mother church. The Baptist, the Methodist, the Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists, they all stem from the Roman Catholic Church. That's why they keep a lot of the same teachings as the Roman Catholic Church. That's why vocab, he'll tell you that if you say that Joseph is the biological father of the Lord, he'll say no, that she was a virgin. It's called a virgin birth. So where did he get that from? He got that from the Roman Catholic, because he's a reformed Roman Catholic. That's all he is. That's all he is. He's a wannabe Jesuit. So anyway, it says, and the strangers, which are the ones that you listen to us when we first got on YouTube. I'm talking about GMS and the One Westers. When we first got on YouTube, you had people watch us, and then they would say, "Oh, these guys in New York City on 34th Street, or they're in Harlem, or they're in Eastern Parkway, or they're in Baltimore, or they're in Maryland, or they're Baltimore, Maryland, or they're in Philadelphia, or whatever." And they would listen and ask questions, and the majority of them, like I said, uh, was former Christians, and then they would maybe come to class, come out to the street, and after about 9 months to a year, I remember that the first brother that came in that I just pulled him out the crowd was a brother by the name of, he's an elder now, Sabar, if I'm saying it wrong. And I said, "You come on in. Who wants to be in the camp?" I pulled him. And then the next week there was maybe 3 or 4, then 5. Then it was and then it just got big, man. We used to have little fights on the street, and then the guys in the audience would get into the fights and beat up people for us. They'll get into them skirmishes, and they came to the camp. So that's how the camp grew. And then meanwhile, you had brothers out there and sisters listening, watching us on YouTube, and then getting in contact with us and putting the name GMS on their name, just like that whole, GMS thing that was set a trend for the other camps. So give me a second. I'm back. So anyway, you know what? Let's go ahead and get into the precepts and then get into the commentary. Back to the basics. Okay, so it says Isaiah 14:1, the top, the headline is Israel's taunt. Israel's taunt. It says, "For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob," which is another name for Israel. Sometimes Jacob refers to the southern kingdom as opposed to the northern kingdom, but Jacob also refers to the whole house of Israel. When the whole house of Israel comes back together, they also known as Jacob. The name Jacob is interchangeable with the name of the word Israel, which, by the way, the blue letter breaks down Israel the wrong way. I think they say he prevails, or something to the effect. I can look it up, but he prevails with. Matter of fact, let me go to that. Because part of this truth is you got to understand etymology. You got to go back to root words. I'm gonna show you that they're going off. I'm not gonna tell you that they're going off. So it says Yah Shar Allah. Yah meaning he, Shar meaning prince, and Allah meaning God. So now this is how they break it down. Israel, God prevails. It doesn't mean that. It does not mean that. And I'm gonna prove that easily. Let me see. Let me go to Sarah. Let's see if I spelled it correctly. Okay, that's Sarai, 1 which means, let's look that up. And the Most High said unto Abraham, Abraham was known as Abram or Abaram to Abraham. As for Sarai, thy wife, I'm going to show you that Sarai means my princess. The I makes it suffix, makes it my princess. So the Lord said, you're not going to call her my princess, but you're going to call her princess. Thou shalt not call her name my princess, but princess shall her name be. So let's go into it. Sharaya, my prince, my princess. They even got that wrong. Okay, Shara is a feminine, for it says noble woman. It's supposed to be princess, sorry. Let me do it this way. They blue letter goes off sometimes. Loosely translated means noble woman, but it actually literally means princess. It's the masculine, the feminine form of prince. Princess Shah, princess is Shara. My princess is Sharaya. They go off, man. Oh, they go off. Let me do this. Okay, they do say princess right here. The root of the word is Shah. And they got it right here. Shah, which is prince. Shah is prince, Shara is princess. Feminine form of prince. Shah, right? So it says, I Shah. Bear me for a minute. Let me do it this way. Yeah, ISUPK, they do a lot of Hebrew classes. They go in on that Hebrew. So get a chance, you go to ISUPK and you watch some of them Hebrew classes because they go in. That's how we used to teach it. So let me do this. I'm trying to find. Okay, I found it. Genesis 32, verse 28. And he said, thy name, this is when he wrestled with the angel, Jacob's ladder. Thy name, he said he asked for a blessing. What blessing did he give him? The blessing that he gave him was his name. And with that name comes power. It says, and he said, thy name, this is the angel speaking, shall be called no more Jacob, Yaquab, but Israel. Now the angel is going to break it down. For as a prince hath thou power with God. So the word doesn't mean wrestle with God or prevail with God. It's prince. When he said as a prince, he said, your name shall be he Prince God. He's a prince of God. Yah, Shah, Prince, Allah, God, or power. So the angel broke it down. Just like the angel Gabriel broke down the name of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. He says, you shall call his name Jesus. He didn't actually say that, for he shall save his people from their sin. So what does he save? He save. The angel said, you're going to call him he save, or he deliver, which is Yahweh Shai. And the blue letter goes off on that too. So we know in the blue letter, you got to be careful when there's bones in the blue letter. That's a title right there. There's bones in the blue letter. And so you got a lot of these guys that just came up. They go to let's go to the blue letter. Let's come to the blue letter, which they got from us. And then they'll come across and they'll argue with you. No, it doesn't mean Prince. It has nothing to do with Prince. Well, you don't understand the Hebrew. You don't understand the Hebrew. I just broke it down to you. The angel said, if anybody know, if an angel is able to give Yahweh a blessing, shouldn't you know what the blessing stand for? That's why he broke it down. I'm gonna call you Israel because you, or he is a prince with the Most High. You in favor. You are one that is in favor of the Most High. You can say it that way, but you got to say the word prince. Shah is prince. They had a leader of Iran before it was taken over by the Ayatollah. He was called the Shah of Iran. What does the word Shah mean? It's Arabic for prince, the prince of Iran, which he was a puppet set up by Esau the seesaw. So now let's come on back. So you got a little half a Hebrew lesson. Come on back. Okay, so let's come back over here. For Yahweh will have mercy on Yaiquab, which means supplanter, and will yet choose Yasha Allah. Yasha Allah means what? All the 12 tribes. So all the 12 tribes are going to come together. You had the Northern Kingdom over here in the Americas. Anybody telling you, oh, the Israelites never came to the Americas. So the people of Indian descent, Latinos are not the people. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And set them in their own land. So these commentators will say that's when the Medo Persians or the Medes took over and the Persians came in. It was a dual empire, you can say, Medo-Persian Empire, Persian and the Medes. They did set them up in their land, but this is not talking about that. And the strangers, like I said, when we go into the commentary, you're going to see that they even say, the commentary even says that it's talking about other Israelites. Shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. What part of the house of Jacob? Jacob. The ones that woke up to the truth. So you're going to watch all of our videos, take notes, ask questions. In the beginning, the first couple of years, you have brothers that I'm coming out to New York. I'm coming out to New York. Some of them say, I want to stay in New York. I said, nope, can't stay in New York. Your job is out there, wherever you're from. And we even had some of the elders that were brothers back then from England come out. A couple of them came out a couple times. All right. So it says, let me read the second verse. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. Now, right here it says captivity. So the stranger's got to be talking about the other nations. No. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. We're going to lead the people that following us by following the Most High. He's going to lead us back to the land of Israel. them their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them. Now it's talking about the other nations. Number one on the list is Esau. In the land of the Lord, because the land of the Lord, the headquarters of the land of the Lord is Palestine. But we're going to have control over the whole world. We're going to have jurisdiction over the whole planet. And what do you mean by that? Meaning they're going to follow, when you come to America, you got to follow the laws of America, right? You got to follow their laws, statutes, ordinances, right? Some countries, the laws, statutes are different. Some countries, if you go to like the Arab country, the Arab world, I don't know if not all of them or some of them, but if you go to that country, you got to convert to their religion. Well, I'm a Catholic. Well, you can't come in until you convert to the religion of Islam. Then you would convert. Then you unconverted. That's not the right term, but it says denounce, and that's what when they made the movie X with Spike Lee and Denzel. Do you know they all converted to Islam? In order for them to actually go to Mecca, they had to convert, and they did, showing you that Denzel is going to get the chip. Spike Lee is going to get the chip. Everybody that went over there is going to get the chip. They're all going to get the chip. It says, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Now it's talking about these other nations, starting with Esau, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Now remember, vocab, well, this is actually before vocab. Well, vocab kind of said it too, I believe, but it was Abu Kamar that said, well, that's talking about the Israelites are going to put the Babylonians in captivity because the Israelites were captives under the Babylonians. Well, I have a question. How in the hell can you put somebody in captivity when the Persian and the Medes became over the Israelites and the Babylonians and whatever provinces that they set up? Remember, there was 127 provinces. Elam, which are the Persians, which are the people of Iran today. So you can't have slaves when you're under another nation. All right? So that's not talking about that. So now, let's go from here. Let's go to the commentary. And let's go to the Cambridge, very short. Okay, so let's go. This is Isaiah 14:1. The immediate result of the judgment on Babylon will be the emancipation of Israel from captivity. Will yet choose Israel, rather will again choose as formerly in Egypt. Zechariah 2 verse 12. And Yahweh shall inherit Judah, his portion, in the Holy Land, and shall choose Jerusalem. Again, Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. The stranger. Now we're going to see what the word the strangers mean. The sojourner. What's a sojourner? An Israelite living outside of the land, coming into the land and staying there for a while and going back. Or they can say, you know what? I want to stay in my homeland, the land of my fathers. So what they do is find out what tribe are you. Well, I'm from the tribe of Gad. You go to where Gad is, the land of Gad, and you give them a plot of land. This is what the small hats use. They use the term a right of return or the right of the stranger. That's why they allowed through Operation Moses, Operation Solomon. I believe there was one called Operation Joshua, but the main two was Operation Moses, Operation Solomon, because there was a civil war among the Ethiopians. So there was a group of them that were keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, which goes back to, as we said in previous videos, it goes back to 2 Kings chapter 17. Those wasn't the people, but they were practicing so much that they started calling themselves the people. So that spread to Ethiopia, because some of them that were living in Samaria went back to Ethiopia. So the small hats were saying, well, there are people too, and they're black people with woolly hair. So when you say, oh, you can't be an Israelite, you're a black guy with woolly hair. You're a Negro. You can't be an Israelite. The Israelites are white. That's bullshit. Because even the small hats agree that there are Israelites that look like that are so-called black with woolly hair. But somehow we can't be it. According to Mr. Vocab, he said, that's why we don't take you serious, man. It says the strangers, the sojourner, or protected guests. The guests that you will protect are the Israelites. Here used as in a later Hebrew with the sense of proselyte. And a proselyte is one that might have been out the land. They might have had children. They had children. They still know that they're Israelites, but they're not fully keeping the laws. And then they become proselytes. And that's even in Matthew 23, because the scribes and the Pharisees, they opened the door to proselytes. So who were the proselytes? There wasn't other nations. Those were Israelites outside their land. Now remember when the Israelites came to when the Puerto Rican came to America, the Israelites, inside joke. Anyway, when they came to the Americas, they said, we're gonna go to this new land, this other land that we knew about by Solomon, and we're gonna keep the laws there. They kept the laws, but they started slacking on the laws. Same thing happened in the wilderness. I believe it was the first generation when they got into the wilderness, they was not keeping the laws. Some wasn't even keeping the Passover. Because you know how we know that? They weren't keeping all the laws. They were doing their own thing because they wasn't circumcising their sons. And it got back to Joshua, and he made them circumcise his sons. So Jacob's gone, man. So if you don't accept these laws, it's gonna be beaten into you. You're gonna keep them laws, or you're gonna die. And that includes the other nations. So give me a second here. I'm back. So it says, so we read that the strangers, the sojourner, or protected guests, which are Israelites. So anybody that's teaching Isaiah 14:1, it says the strangers, you got to explain that those are Israelites, because all of us were considered strangers. We were without our truth. Here used as in later Hebrew with the sense of proselytes. Proselytes means someone newly coming into the faith. So let's go to these precepts here. Isaiah 56:7. Neither let the sons of the stranger that has joined himself to Yahweh, that's talking about Israelites, speak, saying, Yahweh has utterly separated me from his people, the Israelites. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree. In the kingdom, ain't gonna be no eunuchs in the kingdom. Zechariah 2, verse 11. And many nations shall be joined to Yahweh, those are the Israelites. In that day, all shall be my people. Who are the people of the Lord? Israelites. I'm surprised vocab haven't used this. See, that's talking about the body of believers. Shall be my people, and I will dwell in the middle of you, and you shall know that the Lord Yahweh of hosts has sent me to you. And that what precept comes to mind is Revelation 21. The Lord shall dwell among men, Israelite men and women. Zechariah 8, verse 21. It says, and the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, let us go speedily to pray before the Most High and to seek the Lord of hosts. I got to read the whole thing. Let me do this. Let me do this here. And inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, and we're scattered from different areas around the world, right? Let us go speedily to pray before the Lord Yahweh and to seek Yahweh of hosts. I will go also. Yeah, many people and strong nations shall come to seek Yahweh. Those are Israelites and of hosts in Jerusalem, and to pray before Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages. Don't get caught up with the number 10. It's just talking about men. That 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations. These are the Israelites that speak many different languages, that don't know that they're Israelites, even shall take the whole of the skirt of him that is an Israelite or a Jew, but they are Jews, not knowing that they're that they're Jews. So this is another one that vocab can use that he would break down wrong. See, that's talking about the other nations. Now, ultimately, the other nations will take our skirt, take our garment, because they're going to learn that they're going to come up under us, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that the Most High is with you. These are Israelites coming back into the fold. That's why there's so many mainly Jake men are leaving the church. And the church is desperate. So let's come back over here. Okay, so now let's go to the second verse. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord Yahweh for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So let's read that in the commentary. And it's short. Back at Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges, and the peoples, Isaiah 49, verse 22. Thus saith Yahweh the Most High, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles, which are the Israelites that are being called Gentiles, in the place where it will say, ye not my people, there shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. So in this place, we're called Gentiles. And set up my standard to the people, and they shall bring your sons in their arms, and your daughters shall be carried on their shoulders. And that's not literal. but there's going to be a gathering of the elect. Most High is only dealing with the elect. So it says, shall possess them, serve themselves, heirs to them. They kind of went off on that. For the idea, Isaiah 60:10, Isaiah 60:14, Isaiah 61:5, Isaiah 60:10. And the sons of strangers shall build. Now, right here, the sons of strangers right here is referring to the other nations. So when you come across that word stranger or strangers, especially in the Old Testament, depending on the context, it could be talking about the actual nations, or it could be talking about Israelites born outside of the land. This is not that hard. It says the son and the sons of strangers shall build up your walls. Why? Because they're going to be our slaves, and their kings. What made America great? The South made America great with the textiles, the cotton. Why would there so much cotton being picked in the South? With cotton, you have fabric that makes clothes, so you need cotton, and you had to pick the cotton, and it was they would have thorns and stuff. You had to pick the cotton. Then one Jake, anybody knows his name, you can put it in the comment section. He came up with the cotton gin to so the slaves wouldn't have to do it. So that added on to their profits. So really, it was the South that really pretty much made America great. You had this one guy. The ADL was set up by this one guy. Did a video on him, and they took my video down. About an hour in, it was I forget the guy's name, but it's on my Odyssey page, and he supposedly, raped some young girl and then killed the girl. But then there was a whole lot of them women that were working in the sweatshops, and he was connected. He from New York, because they would do deals with the southern nations for textiles and bring them up to New York and make suits and all that. Back then, you had women that all women were seamstress. They didn't even know about shopping for clothes. The Rothschilds had to set up, show you how to actually shop for clothes, because all women were seamstress. And that's in the scriptures. That's Proverbs 31. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build the strangers of the other nations up and build up your walls, and their kings, the leaders, they're going to go into slavery too. Psalms, what is that, 149, the whole chapter, starting from the 5th verse, but it's the whole chapter. Shall minister, do your bidding to you for my wrath. For my wrath I smote you, but in my favor have I had mercy on you. So what did the first verse of Isaiah 14? It says, I will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. And that's getting ready to happen. Isaiah 60 and 14. The sons also of them that afflicted you shall come bending. When you bend, that's a sign of submission to you, and all they that despise you, hated you, shall bow themselves down at the soles of your feet, and they shall call you the city of the Lord, of Yahweh, the Zion monument of the Holy One of Israel. And that's us. We are those people that the other nations are going to bow down to and do our bidding. Isaiah 61, verse 5. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. Where are they going to do it? On our plantations. Plantation means what? A plot of land that you plant things on. That's why the hardest part of slavery was not being a house Negro, but a field Negro. And you worked on the plantation. And down there in the South, the sun was hot. I've been to the South. It's a different type of hot depending on where you go in the South. Now, Oliver North up, they made the movie called 12 Years a Slave. There was an actual dude that was free. He was a musician, and they tricked his ass into going into slavery. So he was in slavery for 12 years until he got, you know, until he was delivered. In the movie, they show you a white man. I don't know if that's true. And they said, well, wait a minute, this guy wasn't born a slave. He wasn't a slave. But you know how Esau do. So he was a slave for 12 years. And he said, you know what he said? He said slavery wasn't all that bad, but it was so, but I could deal with slavery, but it was that goddamn sun, that damn heat, because he's from the North. And he said the North summers are not as bad as the summers down South. And pretty much it was hot all year around. You didn't have the 4 seasons down South. You had pretty much spring and summer, maybe a little bit of fall, but no winter. So it says, and strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. They're going to be working on the plantation. And the sons of alien strangers, other nations, shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. Your vine dressers meaning to make wine. It says, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were. Oh, Judges 5 and 12. You know what I'm going to do? Let me go to Judges 5 and 11. Then I'm going to get ready to close. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers, the modern day archers are the silos that the missiles come out of, and the places of drawing water. Drawing water means slavery. And if you go to the book of Joshua, hewers of wood and drawers of water. Hewers of wood and drawers of water. Drawers of water. And it should come right up. Back to the basics. There we go. Joshua 9, verse 21, 23, and 27. Let's go to 21. And the princes said unto them, let them live, because these were Canaanites that said they were from a far country. They found out that they lied to them, that they should have get put to death, pursuant to Deuteronomy 7. But being that they made an oath that they weren't going to put them to death, they said, well, look, we can't put him to death because we made an oath. We took a vow that we weren't going to put him to death. So let's just put him in slavery. But let them be hewers. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me do this. Okay, let me start at the 9. You can go up a couple more verses. But they had made a pact with these guys. They said, we're not going to put you to death because they didn't know that they were Canaanites. Remember, everybody was dark. But all the princes said, the leaders said unto all the congregation, we have sworn unto them, these Canaanites. Matter of fact, let me do this. They're Gibeonites. Guile of the Gibeonites, which are not Israelites. And when the inhabitants of Gibeon heard that Joshua had done unto Jericho and to AI, whatever, however you say it. They, you know, you know, they lied. They said, no, we ain't them people. We from a far country. I don't know what you're talking about. So when they finally found out that these guys were lying, Israel said, let's just kill them. And they said, well, look, we made a pact with them. We said we wasn't going to kill them, right? They said, but all the princes said unto all the congregation, we have sworn unto them by the Yahweh, the Most High of Israel, Yasha Allah. Now, therefore, we may not touch them. You know, we're not going to put hands and feet on them. Thus, this we will do to them. We will even let them live, lest wrath be upon us because of the oath which we swear unto them. So you made an oath with another nation in the name of Yahweh by Shem Shai. You got to keep that oath. It said, this is the key point. And the princes said unto them, let them alive, but let them be hewers of wood and drawers of water unto all the congregation. So they're going to rent them out. And the princes had promised, as the princes had promised them. So what does it mean by hewers of wood and drawers of water? We're going to go to the commentary. Back to the basics. Let's see what the Cambridge said it is. Okay, hewers of wood and drawers of water, trees, Thiel, Colton, and whatever, some German, whatever. They were devoted to the sanctuary call at a later period, and were bound to discharge menial duties. Yep, we're going to lend them out to the congregation. Menial duties, slavery, which usually devolve upon the lowest classes, meaning you're a slave. You're a slave. Slave get this, slave get that. Inside joke. Deuteronomy 29, verses 10 and 11. Let's read the 10th verse. You stand this day, all of you, before the Lord Yahweh, your power, your captains of your tribes, and your officers, and all the men of Israel. Give me a second. Yeah, that was that call letting me know that they're coming down so we can go out on the highways and the byways. So let me do this. Let me do this. Let me read it in the blue letter. Ye stand this day, all of you, before Yahweh, your power, your captains and your tribes, your elders and your officers, with all the men of Yasha'Allah, your little ones. Little ones mean babies. It doesn't mean anyone under under the age of 20. Not a 19-year-old, 18-year-old is not a little one. Little ones are your babies. Your wives and thy stranger that is in thy camp. For the hewer of thy wood, stranger that is in thy camp, is talking about your slaves. From the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer of thy water. Okay, so that's another one you can use besides Joshua 9. Okay, let me find this again. So it says you had your little ones, you had your wives, and you had the ones that hewed wood and drawn water for you. That means we had slaves. Ye stand this day. I just read that to your captain, your elders as officers, your little ones, your wives, and thy stranger, which is another nation that is in thy hand, now in thy camp. Now remember, you had slaves. Hebrews had other Hebrews had slaves, Israelites. But if it was a man, that was for 7 years, and he was let go and given seven pay, from the hewer of thy wood unto the drawer of thy water. So now, First Chronicles 9 verse 2. Now the first inhabitants that dwell in their possession, their cities were the Israelites, the priests. Let me try Ezra 2 verse 43. The Nethin, whatever. The children of Zaiah, the children, they're not giving me nothing. Anyway, let's read the 11th verse. Okay, we read the 11th verse. So it says here again, hewers of wood, from you of the wood, thy wood, unto the drawer of thy water, which means slavery, working on the plantation. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.